the station
Mhm.
gas station in there now.
There was a fire
Yeah,
that
there's fire and
involved there,
burnt the
yeah.
place down now. And then.
But Johnson had the filling station in there
Yes.
before
Yes.
Hartloff's.
Well, Hartloff never did run the station. Johnson always run that station. Even I think after Hartloff bought it, he didn't run the station. I don't think.
Was there kind of like a county shop or oh, maybe that was the garage, the car dealership, because it kind of
Yeah,
has a,
it had been a car dealership.
on the corner?
Yeah.
because it was a kind of a dome-shaped building.
That whole
One of our buildings.
that whole building
The
that was
whole-
there where
on
the
the
keys
corner,
and stuff
okay.
that had
Yeah.
was a
And that, maybe that was Van Valkenburg's?
that might have been Van Valkenburg's in there. G. Van Valkenburg used to live on East Avenue. His office was up here in this next block too.
What kind of an office?
I should have brought this out earlier.
Okay. Now, that's the building down here.
Yeah, okay, and that's when you're talking about the car dealership,
Yeah.
okay.
mhm. The McKees had his grocery store in there, and Mom worked there. Okay. Up and down that street there in that alley. What do you think? Where the car wash is, now that was Sorik's. But getting back to the other end of the block on the corner, that was Peterson's grocery store.
Really?
Uh-huh. It's a small grocery store.
On the corner by where the mural's chipped off now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
Peter,
that was-
okay.
that was
Oh,
Peterson's.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
and just behind that, and he just, the name of the man's, just on my tongue, had the
Klutz.
Klutz,
Yeah.
Bob Klutz. He used to live in that big stone house right on top of the hill by the curve.
Mm-hmm.
And he had two sons. They're about my age. I used to run around with them some. But he had his plaster shop and so forth in
Okay.
there. And
Tourist information. Campground guide.
yeah. Okay, and then next to Peterson's was, of course, Needs' drugstore. And it's been a drugstore until Dwayne
Mm-hmm.
Isles, yeah.
Isles, yes.
Was
Isles.
Reader's Drugstore.
Yeah. Then next to that was the Kansas Power Mite office. I think there may have been apartments upstairs. I can't remember that for sure. Then next door to that was Marky's grocery store.
Well, so Marky, he had his processing plant down there and then
He had-
grocery at the other
He
place,
had his
okay.
grocery store in two different locations, but that I think was the first one.
Oh, he didn't have the processing plant plus the grocery store?
Mhm.
Oh, he did, okay. Okay.
But then it also was a restaurant, and Breaks had that for a while. And I don't think it lasted too long. And then next door was Sorik's. And then, of course, he lived upstairs.
Oh,
And
okay.
his wife, at that time, she kept the house, which is on East Avenue. Oh, my great aunt owned that place for a while. Oh, let's see.
Which block?
Repke, Bob Repke, or Nat Block, or on South?
I remember.
So you don't remember which house they lived in, huh?
I can see it in my mind. It was right on the corner.
On the corner?
Had that porch. It was
Oh, that's curved
east
around?
net, yes.
Okay, that's where Vic Stanley, they
That-
got it torn down
tore
when
it
Vic
down.
Stanley
Yeah,
lived,
that's
okay.
where Vic built his
Lives.
house. Yeah.
Oh,
That
okay.
neat old kind of
Mosier's
French,
lived there for a while when we lived next door.
French
Richard
provincial or
Mosier.
something, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so
Okay, and that's where Mr. Sorick lived, Mrs. Sorick and Mr. Sorick lived above Sorick's drugstore.
And the boys stayed at the house part of the time, and they stayed down town here part of the time upstairs. And then finally, I think they got to the point where they stayed mostly downtown. But we were just kids then, so. Let's see, and we already went down the other block. Okay, and then starting back on the south, on the west side there, on the corner was the Five and Dime store. I don't remember the people's name that had that. It was there for years. Then it became a secondhand store, or actually an antique store.
was it Glenn's? No.
Glenn's right,
okay.
yeah. They lived back up here, I think on Genesee, one of the big houses back up there, I'm not sure which one.
Mhm.
Then next door, that's been several things. Marky Brooks had a grocery store in there one time, and there was a big hardware store in there at one time, which moved to Marysville.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I think, now can't quote me on this, but I've heard it, that Bogarts had a store in there before he went to Marysville.
Mhm. Mhm.
I think he
Think
was
you're
in
right,
New
yeah.
Rapids before he went to Marysville. Then he moved the store to Marysville from here. And then, of course, upstairs, there was apartments. And then there was a little, kind of an alleyway thing that had stairs that went up above that building.
Oh, that's the way you got to the upstairs
Yeah,
over the
yeah.
grocery store?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
And then there was just a little bit of a gap, and then you had the bowling alley used to be in there. And then the Del Rio Cafe was right next door. And I see it had the little bit of a gap, and then it was the Del Rio, and then the building that used to be the laundromat, and had been a restaurant and had been a clothing store and various other things. There was also the bowling alley.
Is that what you had as the laundry?
Uh-huh.
That was a bowling alley where Jack Holler had his radio and TV and stuff. That was a bowling alley?
Mhm.
Okay.
Upstairs or downstairs?
Yeah, on the main floor.
Really?
Uh,
In your lifetime?
when I was a kid, I used to sit Pinzer, but I was very early teens somewhere. Then, of course, we used to, it was just 10 pins. It's a small ball. It wasn't,
Yeah, 10-pin, okay.
it wasn't like the bowling alleys you have now with the big.
Yeah.
it was
And is
just-
that the one that you said might have ended up in Spoon Elbow's basement?
Yeah, because it was two alleys. There's all, if I remember correctly. Yes, it was, just two. And that's the one they had downstairs. When the
Okay.
Legion bought it, and they put it in down there. So, that's when they made a restaurant. Whitebread, Daryl Whitebread, Mrs. Whitebread had a cafe in there, which didn't last very long. And of course, the Del Rio was there. Jimmy Tubbs owned that, and several other people. Excellent food. Jimmy Tubbs also used to own the down east of town. It's not there anymore. It's been a bar up there, and he had the restaurant part of it.
In the motel?
No, this is where a gas station used to be.
Okay, do you want to go down that road?
Jimmy Tubbs owned it.
But that,
Keep going around the square.
Yeah,
Well, then
yeah.
we'll come back and go down the road to Guns.
Well, this is up in Marysville. He used to own.
Oh,
But,
okay.
Jimmy Tubbs, he had the Del Rio Cafe here for a long time. He was with Chick Boys Players. They used to come through here every year. And they put on 3-act plays in a tent. And they were from just up over there, somewhere not too far up in Nebraska. It's where they wintered at. And they closed their show for the season here in Blue Rapids. And they used to set the tent up, where the grandstand was, to be in that lot out close to the road, just west of where the grandstand was, just west of that one pump house.
That pump house you
They
had in
used to
there.
set their tent up in there, and that's where he'd do his shows. That's where he used to set the circus up when he came to town here too,
Huh.
down there. And then on the corner, that was a pool hall. Jerry's pool hall.
Sure.
What it was before that, I don't remember. A guy named Jerry had it, and then Lister's had it, and that's all I can remember.
Do you remember Jerry's last name?
No, I don't.
Is that where Spoonoggles went in, their TV? Spoonoggles TV was in there.
Yes, I think it was. He had after the.
You're talking about where the pharmacy is now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to show this picture that, can you zero in on this picture?
Oh, I
that,
can.
Larry sketched in 1978, and he was talking about the pump house.
Mm-hmm. That was.
No.
That would be after the grandstand blew down and they finished taking it down.
Oh, okay.
See, otherwise, when I
Sure.
sketched that, I would have put the grandstand in.
Mm-hmm. Have you done some other pictures and stuff? Have you drawn some other pictures? or
I
stuff?
had, as my paintings, the ones I still had left here, they got wet and they were destroyed.
Oh,
And the
sure.
ones that are left over, I have no idea because they were given away
Oh,
to
okay.
various people, and
Yeah.
there are some around.
That's good.
There's a couple of them that's in Europe, as a matter of fact. My sister traded them off over there. before they
Okay, so
came
got
back.
Jerry's pool hall. And then we'll go across the street to the,
Well, behind the pool hall to the west, there was a little building across the alley. That was Bryce and Bryce Insurance Office. And the building's gone now. There used to be all their hitching posts and stuff there, the big chains. They used to park their wagons and horses there.
And that was where we used to watch for airplanes during the beginnings of World War II, or during World War II. Were you an airplane spotter?
I was, yes, but that was when Dad run the Ground Observer Corps, and the spotting point was at the house. Because they had it wired in, the phone and everything was out on the front porch, and all the spotters came up home, and that's where they spot the planes from.
what group was your dad with?
At GOC, Ground Observer Corps. As a matter of fact, when I was going through the stuff at the house, I found some of the wings that he'd got to give to people. I'll drag one of them out and bring it down, and you can add it to your collection here. And there may be some cards and stuff in that stuff too. I'll see what else there.
And what years would that have been?
Let's see. That would be.
I think it was the Cold War.
At the Cold War time, when it was big. And the first time I became a ground observer, I was in Sacramento. I was going to school there. At the same time, around the same time, Dr. Lawless was doing his internship. I was in nursing school at Sacramento County Hospital. I went through the first classes of EMT. Out in California, because I was on the ambulance service out there, and we went to school at the nursing school at Sacramento, California.
And you knew Dr. Lawless then? Or
It seems to me like
there's some,
I remember him being there, because we discussed that when he come back
Uh-huh.
here and found out that
In the same
that
period.
he and I were both at,
Yeah,
took a
and-
training at Sacramento County.
Mhm.
Yes, and then we became friends right after that, and stayed friends, still are today. He sees me, he knows who I am.
Yeah.
He was here not very long ago, because I run into him over to Trion's poorhouse.
Oh.
They were in there having dinner, and I went in, because I usually eat in there.
Mhm.
Usually on Friday night, I go in for a steak. Occasionally, I go in for prime rib once a month.
That's it. So you watched, or what did you talk about in the back?
Philip and I signed up, and I don't remember ever really doing it, but I think I went to some training, and we met at that little building that you were just talking about that was behind the Spoonoggle, behind the pharmacy
Yeah.
building there.
That would have been the original one. And then the spotter station, like I said, they moved up Dad's. He was big in that stuff. Same way with the Blue Valley, or was it the Blue Valley? It got the cards and stuff. The old Blue Rabbit Sportsman Club. My dad was one of the founders of that. That's where they started up, and they did it for the kids, to teach the kids how to handle rifles, teach them shooting and safety. Dad was big with that too.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
one of the founders of it. So.
I didn't even know that there was such a thing.
Yeah, I have some of the membership cards.
We would like to have that because we are going to have an exhibit about outdoor sports, so that would fit in beautifully. Some information about it.
I seen some of the stuff this morning when I was going through my stuff, and so I know they're there, because I
Good
looked at
deal.
them and I thought, that's pretty good. Same way with those little wings. I don't know how many of those is left. But they're brand new. They're still in the, we're still in the envelopes that they came
Cool.
in. So I'll dig that stuff out and bring it down. You can add it to your collection,
We'd like that.
because, that's pertinent to.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of this stuff that is in this trunk that I have at the house that I haven't completely gone through, and a lot of it's mom and dad's stuff. So I'll make it a point to go through this and separate it out, and stuff that like that, I'll bring it down here for your collections, and just give that. I got a lock box that sit out on the front porch, mounted to the stuff, and that was.
Because it was
Yeah.
serious stuff.
It was
If-
government,
yeah,
it was
government,
government
yeah.
phone, yeah, because they
Yeah.
paid the bill on it. And they had it installed there, and that's where Dad run the Observer Corps right from the house. But the first time I was belonged to the Corps was in Sacramento, and I was in the big plotting room at the auditorium there. I was there the night that they called the Yellow Alert. And of course, we were controlled by the Air Force. We had Air Force officers there, and we were the civilian volunteers. And I was out on the plotting table when they stepped her up to yellow. And well, I'll tell you what, it was but just a very short time that them officers and all them military people, they were in there. They got called in, just zip. Every shift, and we had 4-hour shifts, every shift they had a different officer came in. And we had about 6 military people there all the time, the rest was all volunteers. But after that Yellow Alert went down, they had them all in there, the whole bunch.
So what were you plotting? You were getting calls from all across the country?
We were getting calls, pretty much the northern part of California. We were the headquarters for it. Everything called in to us, and we plotted on a big table. They had a big one down at Los Angeles as well. And I think there was one in Seattle. And we were all tied together. The whole West Coast went on Yellow Alert, so.
What year would that have been?
Oh my, see, I was in Sacramento, and I was going to school at that time. Would have been 53, I think, probably. Because I went back in the service in 55, It would have been the latter part of 53. It was wintertime.
Okay, back around the square, we were at the little building behind where the pharmacy is now, and of
Yeah.
course,
Well,
across the street there,
that used to be Bryce and Bryce Insurance also.
that little office used to be, okay. And then across the street where the old post office, the first
Well,
post office building.
And where the lawnmower place is now, that was a gas station at one time. Then it was a little restaurant. Some people had in there. And
Was there an ice cream shop somewhere?
the ice cream shop used to be in this wooden building over here.
Oh,
Yeah, that was the ice cream
Our
bar.
green building next to the bar.
Next to the bar. The very front portion there, on the storefront, that was the ice cream bar when I was a kid. So. Of course, across the street to the west, that everybody knows that was the Opera
Opera
House. It has a lot of history. There was a lot of live entertainment went on in there. A lot of it for the school. The school always put their stuff on in there. Of course, and then we had movies 7 days a week. First, it started out, it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then Monday, and then finally, they changed pictures 3 times a week.
Hmm.
You'd have Friday and Saturday movie, and had a matinee on Saturdays. Then you had a Sunday and Monday, and I think Tuesday movie. Then you had a Wednesday and Thursday. They had-
Who operated the theater? Do you remember?
It was
Probably Schaefer's at some
Schaefer.
point.
Schaefer?
Mhm.
Okay.
Schaefer's had it, and for years and years, and then other people had it afterwards, and they couldn't keep it going. Of course, movie business, when TV came in, that killed a lot of your movie theaters.
Was there a little business across the street, or is that always just a little house on the corner,
Um,
north of the Opera House?
Let's see. That originally was a little house. I can't think of the man's name. He owned that building down the street also, that metal bit. He hung himself in there.
Oh.
And he lived in that house. I think he might have built that place. And after that, then it became the business.
And it was what? I kind of remember
The
business being in there.
the cable people had it for the office
Okay.
for a while.
Okay.
I don't know what's in there now.
Yeah, I think it's just belongs to the house. Waits, you know. That's next. And do you remember where Colonial Hall was located?
Colonial Hall?
Yeah. Back behind would have been maybe right north of the Bryce and Bryce Insurance Company.
No,
It
west.
Huh?
West.
Yeah.
West of the Bryce and Bryce, I think.
West of or north on the Genesee? You think it was on the corner?
Unless that would be this building over here that might have been the Colonial Hall.
It got moved.
It
Along-
got moved?
It got moved down to the North Blue Rapids at one point, but we were
That's
wondering
before his time.
yeah, but we wondered if he'd ever heard where it was.
No.
Okay.
North Blue Rapids, I don't know all that much about. I remember the last house that was over there. Eagle Eye Barker was the last person to live there.
Was he?
Yeah.
On the island or
On the
across?
island. And the house that was left over there, where he lived, my grandparents also lived there when they first came here. North Blue Rapids was pretty much gone. It didn't last all that long. The industry, they had all burnt to ground down there. The glove factory and the hemp mill, the stuff that was on the west side. Those are some of the pictures. I can't find them because I had pictures of those fires. We're on the east side of the river. Of course, with the power plant, there used to be a kind of a little general store thing down there, and maybe a livery stable, and a flour mill used to be in there. And then the only thing that finally was left was just the
Now,
power.
do you remember
power.
those grandparents? Did you go
Oh.
to their house when they lived there?
No, no.
No.
This is when they first came here.
When they first came?
They had lived over there. Um,
Do you have Eagle Eye stories that we haven't heard?
oh, no, except that when he